Art was a 72-year-old retired veteran. People knew him for his quiet and unassuming nature. He lived alone in a modest house where he spent his days tending to his garden and reading old books. Every week, he visited the local supermarket for groceries. The supermarket was run by Carl Porter. Carl was a loud man, often seen joking with regular customers at the counter. This afternoon, he was in the middle of a lively conversation with a group of regulars. Laughter and voices filled the air as Art entered the store. Art went about his shopping quietly, picking up the items he needed. As he approached the counter to pay, Carl noticed him. Carl made a comment about Art's age, joking about his military past. He mocked Art's old-fashioned ways, questioning his relevance in today's world. The regulars chuckled, but Art remained calm. Art nodded politely, though there was a hint of sadness in his eyes. He remembered a time when his service was respected, not laughed at. He paid for his groceries, and the cashier handed him a small, unmarked envelope. Art took it, understanding its significance. He left the supermarket, the laughter fading behind him. Art walked home with his groceries, the envelope in his pocket. Once home, he sat at his kitchen table and opened it. Inside was a simple note. It had a time and a place written on it. Art knew what he had to do. The note, along with Carl's ridicule, weighed on his mind as he prepared for the meeting later that day. Art spent the afternoon in quiet reflection. He thought about his life and the choices he had made. He thought about the friends he had lost and the promises he had kept. He knew the meeting would be important, but he did not know what to expect. As the sun began to set, Art prepared to leave for the meeting. He put on his coat, tucked the note into his pocket, and stepped out into the cool evening air. The town was quiet now, the streets empty as most people headed home for the night. Art walked with purpose, his steps steady and sure. He knew the path well, having walked it many times before. As he reached the designated spot, he paused for a moment, looking around the familiar surroundings. He took a deep breath and waited, ready for whatever was to come. Art stood at the meeting spot, feeling the cool evening air around him. He waited quietly, unsure of what would happen next. The street was empty and silent. The town seemed to be holding its breath. Suddenly, the sound of engines broke the stillness. A convoy of military vehicles entered the town square. The vehicles moved with purpose, drawing the attention of everyone around. People stopped to watch, their curiosity piqued by the unusual sight. Carl Porter, standing outside his supermarket, looked on with surprise. The usual chatter and laughter stopped as the military presence commanded attention. The vehicles parked, and a high-ranking general stepped out. He was accompanied by several officers, and they moved with authority. The general scanned the area, looking for someone. The townspeople whispered among themselves, trying to guess the reason for the visit. Carl felt uneasy, sensing that something important was happening. The general and his officers walked towards the supermarket. Carl watched, his heart beating faster. When they reached him, the general asked about Art. Carl, caught off guard, pointed in the direction Art had gone. The general nodded and led his team away, leaving Carl with a mix of confusion and regret. Meanwhile, Art waited at the designated spot. He heard the approaching footsteps and turned to see the general and his officers. The general stopped in front of Art, saluting him with respect. Art returned the salute, understanding the gravity of the moment. The general spoke to Art, explaining the purpose of their visit. He acknowledged Art's service in a classified operation that had been crucial during a critical time. The town had never known about Art's involvement, as it had been kept secret for many years. The general was here to honor Art's contributions publicly. The recognition had come late, but it had come, and that was enough.